on the measurement of price elasticity of demand. How can we measure the elasticity of demand? So, there are various methods to measure price elasticity of demand. Actually, there are 4 methods of measuring elasticity of demand. They are percentage method, point method, arc method and expenditure method. But in your syllabus, you have to study only one method, that is the percentage method. Okay. So, the price elasticity of demand is measured by its coefficient. Okay. Coefficient means the percentage, the ratio. That is coefficient. This coefficient measures the percentage change in quantity of the commodity demanded resulting from a given percentage change in its price. Okay. So, thus, where Q refers to quantity demanded, okay, then P to price and A to change. So, the equation is that price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in Q. Q means quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, that is the equation of measuring price elasticity of demand. We will focus on the factors that affect price elasticity of demand. Okay, the determinants of price elasticity of demand. Okay. The price elasticity of demand for a commodity depends upon many factors. Let us explain one by one. First one, availability or number of close substitutes. So, what is substitute? A commodity which can be used for another commodity, that is known as substitute goods. So, if close substitute of the commodity are available, its demand is highly elastic. Whereas, if there is absence of close substitute, demand of the commodity is likely to be inelastic. Okay. That means the elasticity of demand for a good depends upon what? The availability of close substitute. If close substitute for a particular good are available in the market, then the demand for the good would be relatively more elastic. For example, since tea is a close substitute for coffee is available in the market, so a rise in the price of coffee would result in a considerable fall in its demand and consequent rise in the demand for tea. Therefore, demand for coffee would be relatively more elastic because of the availability of tea. Okay. Then again conversely, if the price of coffee decreases, then the people might reduce their consumption of tea and they might considerably increase their use of coffee. Therefore, the demand for coffee would be relatively more elastic since it's close substitute. Okay. So, tea is available in the market. Okay. Then the second factor is proportion of total expenditure spent on the commodity. Here also there are two situations. If the amount spent on the product constitute a very big fraction of the total expenditure, then the demand of the product is more elastic. Which means the price elasticity of demand for a good depend upon their proportion of income spent on a commodity. If the buyers spend a large proportion of their income, then they would not considerably decrease their purchase of the good as its price increases. Okay. So, the elasticity is more elastic. Then on the other hand, since the buyers spend a small fraction of the total expenditure is to be spent on the product, its demand is likely to be inelastic. The third factor is habits. The demand for a commodity to which a person is habituated is inelastic. Why? because such a commodity becomes a necessary for the consumer and he continues to buy it even when the price is high. So there is no change in demand for a commodity if it is a habit for the consumer. So elasticity is inelastic. Next one is nature of the commodity. The elasticity of demand for a good depends upon the nature of the good. So basically there are three types of commodity: necessary commodity, luxury commodity and comfortable goods. So first one, the necessary goods. So demand for this commodity is inelastic. Okay. The elasticity of demand for a necessary good is relatively small or inelastic. For example, if the price of such good rises, its buyers generally are not able to reduce its demand. Again, if the price of a necessary good diminishes, the buyer cannot considerably increase their purchase of the good, because since the good is necessity, that they had been purchasing the required quantity at the previous price. But elasticity of demand for a luxury good is generally high. It's more elastic. This is because the consumption of a luxury good, unlike that is a necessary commodity, can be deferred. That is why if the price of such a good increases, the demand for the good can be reduced. Because it's a luxury good, we can either buy or not. On the other hand, if the price of luxury good diminishes, the demand for the good would increase, since along with the new demand, all deferred demand would now be satisfied. Therefore, demand for luxury good would be relatively more elastic. There is a high change in demand, quantity demanded of luxury goods. That's why the elasticity of demand is more. Okay. Then comfort goods. The demand for comforts like fan, radio, cooler, etc. is neither very elastic nor very inelastic. Both are there. If in the case of comfort good, demand for comfort is either very elastic nor very inelastic. Okay, this is the factor of nature of the commodity. Next one, time period. Price elasticity of demand is always related to the period of time. It can be a day, a week, a month, a year, or a period of several years. So elasticity of demand varies directly with the time period. Demand is generally inelastic in short period. So in the case of elasticity, the demand is less in short period. It happens because consumers find it difficult to change their habit in the short period in order to respond to a change in the price of the given commodity. There is no much time to change his demand. That's why the demand is less elastic. However, the demand is more elastic in long period, as it is comparatively easier to shift to other substitutes if the price of the given commodity rises. So he get adequate time to change his demand in longer time. That's why the demand is more elastic in longer time period than in the shorter time period. It is very less. Next is different uses of the commodity. If a commodity can be put to many users, its demand is likely to be elastic. That means if the commodity under consideration has several users, then its demand will be elastic. When price of such commodity increases, then it is generally put to only more urgent users, and as a result, its demand falls. When the price falls, then it is used for satisfying even less urgent needs and demand rises. So if the commodity can be put to many users, the elasticity of demand is very high. If a commodity cannot be put to many users or has a very less users, its demand is inelastic. For example, salt, pen, etc. These commodities are used for very less purpose. Salt is used for only cooking, pen is for only writing, etc. The use of these commodities are very less, so the demand is inelastic. The seventh factor is level of income. So demand for a commodity is inelastic at very high or very low income. So as rich people do not bother about prices, and poor people are already buying minimum. So that's why the demand for a commodity is inelastic at very high or low income. But in the case of middle level of income, demand for commodity is elastic. Next one, level of prices. Demand for high priced commodity is generally elastic. For example, in the case of laptop, then Apple phone, etc. So the demand for high priced commodity is generally elastic. At the same time, demand for low priced commodity is generally inelastic. For example, pencil, matchbox, needles, etc. So demand for such commodities is generally inelastic. What are the factors affecting price elasticity? Availability of or number of close substitute, proportion of total expenditure spent on the commodity, then habits, nature of the commodity, time period, different uses of the commodity, level of income and level of prices. So with this topic, our second chapter get finished. Okay. So in this chapter we have discussed about consumer equilibrium. So consumer equilibrium can either measured on cardinal way or ordinal way, and we have discussed about consumer equilibrium in the case of single commodity with the use of utility analysis, then in the case of two commodities, then also we have discussed the consumer equilibrium in ordinal way or indifference curve way, and in this chapter we have discussed theory of demand, law of demand, etc. And also at last we have discussed about elasticity of demand and its measurement. So children, it's a very long and also very important chapter. So you have to study it well.